Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start with some proverbs.
Sounds
okay.
good.
When?
We should.
Oh yeah.
Order.
We
So
should.
after Colin, Ben, Ryan, me, Harris, Colin, Ben, Ryan, me, Harris. Yes. Good.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
Your prompt is when.
And it's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Snakes.
Consume.
Matter.
When. Wait, it was when.
Lakes.
When lakes.
Snakes.
Snakes. Snakes. I thought you said lakes. Snakes. Okay.
Similar.
When snakes consume matter. Poop.
Happens.
When yeah.
Sure.
When snakes consume matter, poop happens. That's a perfectly proverbic sentence.
Oh, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Alright, Ben, you want to start us off?
Okay. Hypothetically,
I
Can't.
Urinate. While.
okay,
masturbate.
However,
Quitters. However, quitters are
quitting
Best urination.
that was something.
that was perfect. That's what this game is all about.
Nation.
All right,
I'll
Ryan.
remember that.
You do well too. I think we all would.
Alright. Evening.
Regularly.
Dampens.
That's a beautiful stand. So Ben put an ice cream cone box under his laptop. It's very good. It's
See,
I can see properly.
I thought Ben was just gonna start eating ice cream cones standalone.
in
Like-
all honesty, that was what I was hoping.
Like he's not even like, I'm not even gonna have these with ice cream. I'm just gonna eat the waffle cones.
That was what I was hoping.
'Cause-
But
All right.
so, evening regularly dampens.
Temperature.
Thank you so much, Ben.
I like you enjoy it.
You looked a bit like a plague doctor there for a second.
Oh.
So, evening regularly dampens temperature.
Yeah, stop.
Okay.
So I think that's it. Evening regularly dampens temperature.
That's not even
Stop.
That's not even a proverb. That's just a
It's just
fact.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. Funnily,
Enough. Daytime.
Hums.
Two.
rising.
All right. All right. We should start with cats. Behave.
Poorly.
Only.
Oh.
always. Yeah.
Alright.
As soon as I said that, Samson's head fucking whipped on me. And when he noticed I made eye contact with him, his eyes, and again, once more, they have narrowed hard at me. Oh boy.
That's the slow blink. That's the I'm not looking at you in a predatory fashion.
Oh, okay.
So when he does that, you mirror him,
Beautiful.
because it's like if you're watching him to eat him, you don't need to keep eye contact, or you need to rather.
Fuck. Okay, now I'll do that, and I'll trick him into being my friend better.
Yeah.
I'll use his own eyes against him to be my pal.
Is he purring?
I don't know.
That's
I
also a
only
bad
hear
sentence.
fan. No.
Do you want to go opposite direction for items now that we've all gone one?
Sure. I'll start then, since I was the last to go. Floor fans.
Conversational obfuscator.
I don't know what that thing is.
Floor fan.
Floor fan?
Oh,
Like
I
a
thought
box
like-
fan. A box fan.
I thought you meant like I heard something like floral fen. I'm like, that sounds like a chemical I don't know.
Nope. A box fan. A floor fan.
Gotcha. Vegetable cutter.
Stink disperser.
Air chopper.
Heat dynamic educational instrument.
Robot voice maker.
That's the one.
Ball dryer.
Accidental dreadlock maker.
Oh, you were so. I was thinking it was hair tangler.
Oof.
Well, that's what it is for you, but for black people, it's different.
That's pretty racist, Brian.
I won't go with that.
You would be. I'll
That's
have
why
you
I
know. I'll have you know. I could get dreads if I wanted to. Just luckily, I don't.
For everyone involved.
Ryan, does Ben know what your name is in my phone?
I don't think so. I forget what I have in your phone, but I remember enjoying it.
You specifically insisted that I put you into my phone as Ryan, my Blindianese tabletop friend.
That sounds like something I would say.
Yes. On more than one occasion, the two of you have talked about it. However, on both of those occasions, the two of you have had more than a tipple. So.
Yeah.
Well, no, the first time it happened, it was.
The first time it happened was that. But
yes. Okay.
speaking about it after.
Speaking about it after
Anyway.
was yes.
Um,
Okay.
So it looks like we're moving on from box fan.
Yeah.
Colander.
Religious headdress.
Shitty gas mask.
Ray blocker.
Shit sieve. Not happy about it, but
Discount bucket.
this bucket's 40% off, man.
Improvised shower head.
Mouse prison.
What was that, Ben?
Mouse prison.
Aerodynamic bowl.
Sisyphean torture tool.
Oh.
Cheese grater.
Yeah. Constellation maker.
Only if it's the kind of colander with holes rather than the kind with slats.
Yeah.
That's, it doesn't matter. The kind that you're thinking of is the correct kind.
I mean, I was gonna say that you could still use a colander as a cheese grater, so
That's true.
that wasn't the new object, by the way.
Ryan, would you like to give us one?
Yeah. Glove.
Other glove. It doesn't fit as well, but it'll still work.
Oh no.
Okay, Ben, you want to give us the
Murder defense.
murder defense?
Oh, that was good.
A
Turkey template.
Fucking template?
Turkey.
Oh. Yeah, I'm with you.
Right?
I know you haven't ever had sex the way Rick had sex.
Battle initiator.
Ooh.
Hit someone with their glove.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
their glove.
Awkward sock.
You just gotta get used to Vibrams, man.
David Crump would love that. He wore Vibrams.
Helmet.
Depending on the kind of glove, a gas mask.
Ill-advised prophylactic.
Cocaine holder. For long search.
Icon tool for a dancing man. Michael
Palette
Jackson
prevents
with
quilting
his
device.
single glove.
That's,
That was very obtuse.
I knew. I
There's-
figured that's what it was, but I was like, "Where's? No, that's
There's
what
something.
I thought."
There's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to get there, but it's there, and I'll figure it out someday.
Dual initiator.
Ben, you want to throw something at us?
Carrot length sorting device was mine. But do you mean a new object?
Please, but I like that one too. But yeah, a new object, please.
A single human tooth.
Doll.
Exchangeable good with Faye.
Blister popper.
Orc signifier of status.
A game piece.
Hog.
Mm. One half of a deal with the bone demon.
A snack if you're the kind of person that uses Thompson's teeth.
Metal holder.
Legal tender for the tooth fairy.
Illegal tender for Santa.
Wait, UK Santa doesn't trade in teeth?
Not every day of the year.
Not anymore. It's an EU thing.
Ah, okay.
Brexit.
Hey, you'll be able to trade in teeth again soon.
Yeah. Oh no, they're gonna make bracelet jokes.
I
Whatever. You can carry on.
From what I understand, people knock teeth out enough over there.
Well. Oh, I don't know. Then I'm not even gonna get on that road. No.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, a single human
The
tooth.
first thing that came to my head was extremely uncharitable.
That's extremely fair, and that's completely understandable, and it would be entirely deserved. Whatever it is, I'm sure. Yep. There's a lot of problems with my country, and
I was gonna say.
there's a lot, man.
There's
There's a
Kind
lot.
of a glass houses
There's a
situation.
whole,
this
there's a
last
whole lot, man. It's
So
not
instead
good.
Instead of throwing stones in a glass house, we just throwing teeth in a glass house.
week. Girls not used for teeth.
No, I'll throw glass in a glass house. Yeah, I mean, when you can throw a house, Why would you not throw a house? Colin, you want to give us a thing?
Yeah.
I did already. Oh, Colin.
Colin.
Yeah.
I said,
You're...
I had Colin.
Have you forgotten who you are?
I mean, I've been around for a little bit. Gets tough to
quarant-
remember sometimes.
It's only been since last Thursday, so that's only a few days. Give him a break. It's okay. I mean, all of us have only been here since last Thursday, but that's neither here nor there. But you still deserve a break, you know.
A stress ball.
What was the object?
Object is a stress ball.
Oh, okay, right.
Diarrhea stopper.
Depending on how you use it, diarrhea starter. Depends how hard you squeeze.
Jaw exerciser.
You know what? Depending on how you use it, diarrhea 7-minute stretch.
Unofficial Flubber movie merchandise.
Terrifying glass eye replacement.
Want to see something?
Look at it squish.
It's like that fucking scene in Hot Fuzz with the ketchup packet.
Oh, the eye.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Squish. Child discipline device. It's bad.
Doctor disapproved. What was it? What's the specific word for it? Vaginal sponge. Doctor disapproved vaginal sponge. It's the contraceptive tool which is no longer sold in many countries.
0 out of 10 doctors would approve using a stress ball as a vaginal sponge.
We're into
I know,
we're
I've met
into
some
like
weird doctors. I'm
Gwyneth
sure at least one out
Paltrow,
of 10
like
would
J-egg
approve.
territory.
Did the doctors that you've met have degrees, or did people just call them doctor?
I never asked, but they definitely had a holistic approach.
That's, you know what? That's sounds like most of the doctors with whom I've become acquainted. I wouldn't say most of the doctors I know, but most of the doctors that are my acquaintances, yes. Somehow, in that space of that time, a bee was where my ass was, and just used its ass to get mine, and
Ass to ass.
that's ass to ass, to quote a terrible old man.
From a movie about drugs.
Yep. So, wild thing in as I found out, Black Swan is considered to be in the same universe as Requiem for a Dream. So
Really?
yeah. So this is only known because the guy in Requiem for a Dream who says ass to ass, he's like credited as Uncle something.
Yeah.
It is that same actor playing apparently that same character, credited as that same character as the guy on the subway who's got his hand between his pants and is going staring at I don't remember.
Natalie Portman?
Yeah, Natalie Portman on the subway.
Oh.
He is credited as the same
Is
character.
it the same director?
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah. Apparently, there is at least one other movie in which I want to say it's like Uncle Hank, but I don't think that that's correct. I want to say it's like Uncle something, but that he is credited, and he is just a disgusting old man in all of them, and it is this one disgusting old man that ties those films into a shared universe. I really enjoy the moments that Ben pops back on when I'm saying shit.
I
It's
do think that
always
impeccable timing.
when it's at some fucking fever pitch that contextless sounds like just the ravings of a fucking lunatic. Which, I suppose I am, but I'm fine with that being the image cultivated of me.
That's probably exactly where I'm going to bring the audio back in.
That sounds perfect.
On the final version of this. Ryan, I want you to know that I haven't finished editing Trophy Gold from last weekend
Oh
still.
god.
Because it was 4.5 hours, and it took me like 90 minutes to 2 hours to trim that down to 4 hours and 15 minutes. And I
No,
still
it was
have.
too long.
I have.
I apologize about that
I have the
session.
rest of it to go through. No, it's fine.
It was an enjoyable time.
I'm getting a lot of video editing practice, or rather, audio editing practice. So, which I will apply to this one as soon as we game. So, do we need to re-warm up, or are we good?
I'm good.
Okay.
You good?
guys?
Do you
Okay.
want to do a creative centering, Colin?
No.
Okay.
So last time we kind of left off where you guys had all shown up to Omega on Ryan's StarCraft of some sort.
Mhm.
Ryan, you know that there is a possible assignment for you on Omega.
Mhm.
Harris, for you might be able to get some juicy tech to bring back to the Migrant Fleet for your pilgrimage, and Rick, you might get some juicy intel for the Shadow Broker. Who knows? Ben, we discussed how we might bring you in, where like you wanted to be like in the employ of Arya, and she's like, hey, go with these idiots. But Harris, you had another idea, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that you guys had talked about intros, and I was thinking like your like metal arm could be damaged and in need of repair, and then that's how we would meet. And like I would fix your arm up.
I'm fine with either and or both.
Or like, what if
It's true.
like this could be like a character building between you two, where like your arm or your prosthetics are like giving you some trouble, and you're like trying to just muscle through it and be like, nope, it's not bothering me. And then Harris, you'd be like, yo, dude, you want a hand with that?
Yeah.
No offense, do you want a hand with that? But like,
Fucking piece of shit.
yeah, how does it feel, Rick?
You know what, Colin? Feels good to know that I've corrupted you. And that I've broken something good. Feels good. Feels good.
Tainted me.
No, you taint yourself enough.
Yeah.
Feverish in the bedroom.
Anyway,
I'm gonna not comment on that.
it's okay. Make sure you just leave that part in the editing.
It's there now.
Anyway, so where then are we specifically starting?
So you guys have just arrived. Like you just got a berth in one of the shipyards. And so air traffic control has cleared you to land and give you berth. And you go there. You guys dock. And so when you arrive, there is a kind of like, I would say, a mix between surly and bored. A Batarian, just kind of like, he has his arms folded. He's just kind of like leaning back a little bit against a crate, and he's just kind of standing there on the gangway, watching you guys get off your ship. And like he's not really gonna like go up and greet you guys, but he's making it known that like you should talk to him before you walk past.
Okay.
Batari-
I was like-
Batarians have 4 eyes.
Yeah.
They're kind of funky
I
looking.
just looked up pictures of them because I was like,
Yep.
wait a minute, I don't remember.
Right, guys, camera is gone.
Right?
I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
left.
my question is, out of, because Ben, we're probably not gonna introduce you right away.
No problems. It actually helped me to know what kind of info you
Yeah.
had in universe. So that's fine. Thing.
So Ryan, Rick, and Harris, have you guys been to Omega before?
Probably.
Probably.
I think I definitely have. You know
So
what?
Rick has definitely been to
Yeah.
Omega before. What about you?
Oh, wait, it'll stop off. Yeah.
Okay. So, the Batarian kind of like inclines his head as you guys are walking down this gangplank, like this dock, and he addresses you. Hey, Arya's been keeping tabs as usual. She wants to talk to you before you go anywhere else.
Okay. I mean, probably gonna go see her anyway. I mean,
Good.
you know, it's you're a little tense today.
Same for you, Ball. You guys recognize this guy? It would be a what is like general knowledge?
Knowledge. I've got underworld, brokers, and social.
Okay. I mean, it would be like you've seen this guy before, but like it's been a while, so like you might not remember his name right away.
Okay.
Shit, that's my bad. I probably should have just given you his name, but like
I mean,
as opposed
I
to
was
just like,
in all
figure it out.
in all reality, I was just going to say that because I've definitely been here before. I was just going to start talking to him like I knew his name and saying like,
Okay.
quite literally, the next moment I got a chance to, I was going to ask him about his bowling league and if he had figured out the leadership dispute.
That would be
That's not a joke. That's what I was
Real
quite literally what I was going to
hilarious.
say. That's
Considering that I pulled this character from Mass Effect 3 as like he's an actual dude in the game, and then that on the side that Bray is in a bowling league. You know what?
that's
Based on your interactions with Bray in one of the Mass Effect DLCs and the 3rd game, he totally would have a bowl. He totally would be in a bowling league.
okay.
We're gonna go with that.
That's fucking so.
I'm I'm now writing this down.
As
Bray is
he,
in a bowling league.
so it's like after he's like saying that who did he say wanted to speak with me, like Mayor. But it's like right after he said that, he's like, okay, well,
Arya,
Alright, thank you.
who is the head crime boss on all of Omega.
yeah. So as after
She keeps tabs on everybody, and she's
Sure.
like, before you go anywhere else,
Yeah.
you talk to me.
well, I mean, I was going to
Hey, Amber.
I was going to speak with Arya anyway. I mean, great. You're
Yes,
a
hello.
little tense today. Did you figure out the leadership dispute in your bowling league, or?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
pretty
good.
easy.
Well, then you should be a little more relaxed. You know that I'm going to speak to Arya anyway. It's okay. How many times? We've been through so many times, but. Did you figure out that 710?
Yeah. I only had to gut the guy to figure out how to do it, but
Oh, well, if that's how you learn.
Alright, so he kind of leads you along. Alrighty. Geez, Bray, you always get these crap details. So he kind of like leads you along a gangplank, out onto a corridor, punches a few buttons on an elevator, and you guys are headed up. Come out onto a street, and right in front of you guys is the Afterlife nightclub, where Arya runs all of Omega, and there's music a-bumping. There's some Turian guards outside the door, or flanking the main entrance, you know. And there's this big Elcor bouncer heading off the normal line, and then you guys just go straight through the VIP line. Like not even like there's a VIP line that's like kind of like maybe like half a dozen people deep, and then there's like the everybody else line, and that's a few dozen people deep, and then there's another like just kind of like a one of those gate with the
It's like
with the
velvet
felt,
curtain and shit.
with the felt thing on it.
Rope and border. Yep.
Yep, and so Bray just kind of picks it up, leads you guys through, reattaches it, and you guys are walking up the steps, and you go into Afterlife.
Okay.
You can like stop and grab a drink before you head up to Aria, but like it's not.
Okay.
It's just loud nightclub kind of deal. There's dancers, there's strippers, there's people in a seedy nightclub.
You know what it is, space. They've got
It's it's a whole smorgasbord of
Yep.
of
Space.
delights.
Space, man.
So, you guys feel anything, or just like go straight up talk to Arya?
I don't feel like
Yeah.
there's any specific business to do.
Yeah, I don't have
otherwise.
any business I need to attend to.
Yeah.
Aria's where I get work sometimes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, like, maybe after, but
Yep.
Let's go and get that step first.
So you guys go up, and there's like, now like a half dozen guards standing around Arya's booth in this much quieter corner of the nightclub, and so Bray kind of leaves you over there, and often, like up a platform, sort of, is this like really teched out looking Turian. He's just kind of standing there leaning in the corner. Like he's like this guy kind of stands out because he's like way overly teched out than most other people would be. But he's not like actively drawing attention to himself. He's just kind of there, standing behind Arya, on like it's a recessed down like leather lounge booth, right?
Got
He's just kind of standing up on what would be like the back of the couch,
Yeah.
sort of like he's just there in a shadow. And so you guys walk up. Arya welcomes you in. She goes, Nosa, or Bale, hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? So you brought a new friend with you. Let me see, Drell probably works for the Hanar government.
Did
Work for the Hanar government. Interesting. What brings you to Omega?
Oh, the sights and scenes of Omega. Just so exciting after hanging out with a bunch of jellyfish with no sense of enjoyment whatsoever.
So I've heard. But that seems an awfully shallow reason to come to Omega now, doesn't it? Payne, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Well, enough, I suppose. And at this, Pei materializes one of the beakers from her investigator's kit that she has, because it's like for crime scene and forensics investigation. She sort of materializes and grabs up one of the bottles of liquor that's just on the table and just pours herself a glass and just grabs some up, throws it on in. And
Arya cocks an eyebrow, but like doesn't really say anything.
you were going to invite me to have a drink eventually. I figured we're at a point where we can skip such a formality, right? You've called me sweetheart twice now, right? I think that if I'm your sweetheart, I can have a drink or two, wouldn't you say?
Sweethearts can have a little drink as a treat.
As a treat. The thing is, and I might not be able to voice actor this well enough, but you're still not sure if Arya's calling you sweetheart as a term of endearment or a term of derision?
I'm
like,
aware.
It's totally.
I'm fully aware that it was left ambiguous which form of sweetheart
Good.
it was.
All right.
That's why I leaned in.
Hey guys, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, baby.
And Bale.
Bale.
Damn it! I'm just gonna have to write BAIL on here in parentheses.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
I do that
like,
all the time.
Write your
correcting
name,
names.
but with a B.
Just write hey in parentheses
Hal.
before the name.
I said that we're gonna get Halb.
Colin Halb. Bale, what brings you back? Looks like you're still on your pilgrimage to the mired fleet.
You know, looking for work, looking for odds and ends, looking for unusual places to delve. Unusual.
Omega certainly is that. At the edge of the galaxy.
It certainly is not an odd place to find ends.
Wouldn't we know? And Arya kind of like just glances, does like a sideways glance at a bunch of strippers, and then back to you guys.
Is that like a sex worker murder joke?
No.
I hope not.
I mean,
I was thinking just.
that's kind of how I read it.
Oh!
I mean, I was just thinking ends as in like.
Rear ends?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then.
Oh!
Yeah, I was just thinking ends as in like a really roundabout way to get to rear ends, and then
Butts.
yeah, butts.
Okay, that's
Like Arya's just staring at some butts for a second.
I
and
didn't
then goes
know
back
how
to
to
you guys.
interpret that piece, that little like cinematic shot that you set up there. But I didn't look into murder.
Yeah, I was
and I'm
definitely
very
on
glad
the
to
like
find out it wasn't
bad
that.
things happen to sex workers around Arya. That's
No,
where mine went.
No.
Oh,
If anything, it is
God.
the opposite of what has been established by her character throughout the games.
well, that's good.
I don't remember enough about it, so.
She's good for sex workers. It sounds like.
She takes very good care of the dancers in her clubs. Let's
That's
just put it that
wonderful.
way.
That's very good.
Good.
People deserve care.
So. I assume you've come to me for information. What is it that you seek? Obviously, I'm going to need a little something in return before I can give it to you.
Well, I think an honest days of dishonest work sounds fine.
Okay.
But
That's
I mean,
generally what we do around here on Omega.
I also was just instructed by our bowling buddy to come talk to you anyway. So even if I didn't have any reason to come talk to you, I had to come talk to you anyway.
Arya gives a slight smile at Bowling Buddy and glances over at Bray like, yeah, that fucker.
I also like the idea that Arya is in the same league and outperforms Bray regularly.
Oh my god, she would. A little backstory.
I know nothing about her, but she is a better bowler than Bray. I can tell you that much right now.
A little backstory of Arya in what would have been our timeline, 1980, and like the game takes place roughly in like 2165, 2166-ish. In like the year 1980, Arya was working under the employ of the current, like the at the time crime boss on Omega, who was like this Krogan warlord, right? And she challenged him in single combat and won, and then usurped his position and allowed him to remain as one of her lieutenants.
So she's just dope as fuck.
Yeah.
That's why
And
she's
so
a better bowler
he
than Bray.
was, and then
Yeah.
and then gave him the nickname the Patriarch, even though she is in charge of all of Omega.
Yeah. But as I said, she's a better bowler.
Oh yeah, she's very knowingly better at most things than any other person alive.
From just a very brief moment, I get a very veterinary feel from her. You know.
You would love
That's
this
actually a
world.
decent touch point. Yeah.
Yeah. That's hey.
I
I knew it would work for somebody in the room.
Yeah. So okay, so you've read it. Ryan, are you familiar with Discworld?
No.
You would love it.
It was very good.
You would
yeah.
too.
Yeah, you would.
I've been told that I need
Ben
to
had
read
said so.
I've got
Rick
at
had
least
said so.
one
And
Discworld.
my dad had
here.
said so.
Really, what we're saying is you're shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
But
bad for not
you
having
can
this
get
experience.
less shit by just reading some Discworld.
Yeah. You didn't have this experience, so you're bad.
Yeah.
So
It's your fault. Sorry.
I accept it about me.
Okay.
Got to correct it a long time ago.
Oh well. I still love you.
I wouldn't go that far.
Just a little bit less. Just
More
a
of an
little
acquaintance.
smidge less.
No, it's not that there's less. It's just that there's a cap right now. There's only so much it can go. It's not that there's any less. It's just Well,
Yeah.
you put me in my place. Okay. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna kind of look around and say, well, I recognize everybody here, but this Turian. Aren't you gonna introduce us?
Who's your new friend?
Arya kind of like does a head tilt over her shoulder in the direction of,
Okay.
which is, I'm alluding to Ben's character,
And then
and
Pei looks up. Then Pei looks up to you, if that's you. Then are you gonna introduce us?
Ben, before you have the chance to say anything, Arya
Oh,
kind of
yeah, okay.
goes, "This is one of my newer employees. I want to make sure that this job that I'm going to be giving you guys goes right. He'll be with you to make sure that it does. Is that understood?"
It's been so long since I've had a babysitter.
That is a good line. I like that.
What's my curfew? And she's like looking up at you. Did you give him all the emergency numbers?
This is. Are you role playing with me or you role playing with Ben?
Yes.
Both? Alright.
I think my character, my as yet unintroduced character, unnamed so far, would just
When you say.
very slightly shake his head.
At the moment you say, "Did you give him all of our emergency numbers?" Arya just kind of like grabs a rock glass off the table with alcohol in it and just like dead, full on, like stares you down, taking a drink, just like.
That's fine. I'd start drinking back out of mine, out of my fucking beaker.
Yeah, it's an Erlenmeyer flask
Yeah, out of my Erlenmeyer flask.
or just any kind of chemistry beaker or something.
Actually, no, I like the idea of it just being like a fucking long beaker. It's just like.
Be amazing. So Ben, you may now introduce yourself, as you will be tagging along with the rest of the party. We now have a foursome. Oh boy.
Happens every now and then.
So Ben, describe
Yeah.
us your character.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head early. He's Tyrion.
Yep.
Older, looking slightly grizzled. Not the majority, but the majority of him that you can see outside of clothes is replaced. And not particularly well replaced either. Lots of kind of clanking prosthetics. Very... It looked like it was good once, but it just has not been properly maintained. So there's bits of casing missing, sheathings worn away.
Starting to get a little outdated. Was cutting edge at one point, but starting to get a little
Yeah, say
outdated.
like 20 years ago, this would have been like the cutting edge of replacement limbs. But yeah, it's one entire limb, most of kind of neck and face, and especially everything around the back of his head and back. There's a notable bulge around kind of the back area, which, to be fair, is also normal for a Tyrian, but his is more unnatural than most.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
it feels rude not to introduce myself. So step forward and put a hand out to shake.
Pay puts her hand out. I don't know if anybody else is going to, but
Yeah.
Pay extends her hand.
I'll take your hand with one hand, and then with the other, I will just reach in with the metallic arm and just pinch the bottom of your glass, just breaking the bottom so all the alcohol just drips out.
It's fine. She pulls out a notebook, adds it to the expenses, puts it away, materializes a different one from her investigator's kit, and just fills it back up.
Good.
It's fine. I mean,
Ben, I want to
That would probably actually get a nod of slight respect from my character. Think of it as you've just passed some kind of is it fuckable or unfuckable test.
So
this person gives no fucks. That's probably good in a combat situation. Well done.
yeah. It's, yeah.
Ben, can you tell me your character's name and then spell it out so that I can put it in my notebook?
Okay, get ready for it. The name is Kynan Zephelian, although you go
Fuck
by
yeah.
Or
Zephelian.
you can just
Kynan Zephelian.
You can just DM it to me on Discord now. I will.
And yeah, I'll write it for you.
Kynan
Yeah,
Zephelian.
Zephelian's good.
I like that.
Do you prefer going by your first name or your last name?
Definitely last name.
All right.
So Zephelian.
So
Only his friends call him Kynan, and he hasn't had friends for several years.
that's fair, dude. So
Hey,
yeah, just
same.
DM me that on Discord and I'll write it down right now.
Yeah, no problem.
Especially because I need to start role playing as Arya once again. I will refer to you by name. This is good.
I think actually, I think even more. Pay when she goes for the second pour, she reaches for a more expensive bottle this time. Because like the first bottle was just like at the edge of the table when they had walked up, but you know during the course of conversation she's moved in, so now she's closer to the middle of the table where the more expensive bottles are. And so I think the first reach was for the same bottle, and then it like reaches over to the more like the one that's sitting, not quite in front of Arya, but closer to, and like pours into that one and then puts it back. I think that's the nice little.
And so I was trying to stifle a smile just watching it. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm tough. I'm very tough.
I am very
Can't-
somber. I am a monk trained in the arts of seriousness,
Yeah.
and it's
But
not
he's
working.
stealing expensive alcohol, and that's funny.
I'm not stealing it.
As you do that, Arya just, kind of cocks an eyebrow again, but doesn't really react more than that. And at the audacity of this, there is a Blue Suns mercenary who's kind of, he's sitting opposite you guys in this booth, and he is flanked on, so like he's sitting, and then standing directly in front of him are like two more of Arya's attaché, just with rifles like slung low, but like they could easily turn the weapons on this guy at any point, and it is obvious he is going to be interrogated or is a prisoner of some kind, but it is at the civil, it's at the good cop part of the interrogation, not yet to the bad cop of like, listen, you're going to cooperate with us, but if you don't, I'm going to make you regret it. And this Blue Suns guy just like shifts very uncomfortably at the fact that like other people know Arya this well, and she's going to engage them in a parlay of this sorts, and he's just shitting his pants. So Arya says, Zephelian here will be accompanying you. I hope that's alright. I have a little job that I'd like to take care of for you guys. Someone roll a d4. 'Cause
Oh, just so you know, as she mentions the job, If they're
Two.
looking, they will see
Right,
my face just do that slight wink because I know what the job's going to be, and I don't want to be doing it.
It's really great that Ryan chose 2, because the guy you guys have to go talk to is another Turian. That was
No,
fantastic coincidence.
it's not great for me.
Yep. But it works because Ben
Yeah,
was like,
okay.
yeah, I don't want to go do this job, but I gotta do this job. So Arya kind of like shifts again and like leans forward, kind of has elbows on her knees as she's sitting, and like does one of, I'm gonna get off the floor. She kind of does one of these at you guys.
That's also very veterinary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The steepled fingers.
Yeah.
Mm.
There. How do I put this? There's been a bit of a troublemaker down in Fumi district. Now, granted, it's a residential area and there's not a whole lot going there. Just, you know, you pay for protection and everything's fine. But this man, this Turian man by the name of Lantar Sidonis,
Another wince.
yeah, has been making trouble. He's been trying to interfere with operations. I need you to go talk to him for me and convince him to, as we, let's say, reconsider his options. You do that for me, you come back, and then we can have a real conversation.
Can you say the name again?
Lantar Sidonis, Lantar is his
Mhm.
first name. Last name, Sidonis.
Thank you.
So, you want us to go be a boogeyman, and after we scare them, then we can have a chat?
I just need you to show him that I don't fuck around.
Okay,
Nobody fucks with Arya.
sure. So, like I said, you just need us to be your boogeyman, and then we can...
That would suffice.
Okay.
I notice our babysitter is uncomfortable at the idea of interacting with this Sidonis. Is there something we should know about him?
About Sidonis or about Zethalion?
Correct.
Zethalion, while a very capable man, hasn't really been performing in the way that I want him to be. And she kind of like grits her teeth, like kind of says, as she goes through that sentence, she says it more and more.
Oh, so we're babysitting him! Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Through
The
more and more
temptation to
gritted
break that second beaker is very strong.
teeth.
I think actually, hearing that, oh, we're babysitting him, that's when another beaker comes out.
Well, in that case, I mean, if you're making it so obvious for me, I will break it before it even gets to your lips. I'll just...
Yeah, well, that one was for you to pass over.
Yeah.
Ben, as you lean down to break the beaker, and then you like start coming back, Arya grabs your other hand and says, Zethalion, you break one more glass and spill my booze on this table one more time, I'm spacing you myself.
There would be
And then let's...
there would be a very long moment. Like, just a bit too long for a proper, loyal type. Just too long.
Yeah.
Just that half hair's
Yeah.
breadth pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then a nod and a step back.
And that is...
Sorry though, just a nod and a step back.
And I think that is when you realize the second beaker was being handed to you.
Is he gonna play with a lighter?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta play with fire.
So yeah, so you guys gotta go talk to Lantar Sidonis.
I'm sort of imagining that Bale is just sort of examining all of his various augmentations while flicking a lighter on and off idly. Just sort of cataloging the various modifications that she can see
On
on
our new pal.
our new companion.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, actually, in that case, I can give you a little bit more information.
Okay.
Beautiful.
The oldest ones of them look like combat augments, but everything from about kind of 20-ish years ago look purely medical.
Oh.
Brutal.
Jeez.
Like, they are literally what is keeping me alive. I would be dead without
So
them.
you
Simple.
are an over the hill man.
Oh god, yeah.
You're almost at the foothills man sounds.
But I'm not. I mean, I'm older, but I'm not old enough to be naturally needing these. Definitely.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So like, Turians can live like with in-game like medical advancements in that year. Like humans are living up to about 150 years max.
Yeah.
Like it's whereas like our, let's say like the average U.S. like
It's
age
like
of dying
80,
is like
82.
80.
Yeah.
Average age of dying in now game is like 120 to 130. Turians live to about 180 max. So
I'm probably over 100.
say what you will for Zethelian. Like he's up there. He's not geriatric by any means, but like he's old and grizzled looking at.
Certainly.
With so yeah, Arya wants to go talk to Sidonis because he's interfering with the racketeering.
Yep.
Protection payments.
Okay. Well.
And really, Arya is super fair with her racketeering, where it's like, hey, you pay your rent to your landlord, and Arya tax up, like, it would be the equivalent of a tax.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, she doesn't really threaten, I'm gonna break your limbs. Like, if that district was more controlled by Bloodpack, Eclipse, or Blue Suns, yeah, there would be a lot more racketeering going on, and it would be straight up corruption, grifty kind of shit. But Arya is super fair, where she's like, hey, you just pay me a flat tax, it goes to me, so I can run my thing on Omega.
She's a fair and not shitty crime boss.
Yeah,
She's just, she's
A
the lesser
farsighted
of two
crime
evil
boss.
crime bosses.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, she's shitty and violent, but she is predictably shitty and violent.
Yes.
She's not insane shitty and violent.
Certainly.
Arya is not chaotic. She is super lawful.
Okay. No, I got
Yeah.
you.
Definitely a Lex Luthor kind of woman. Wants power, wants control, is willing to do very dirty things to obtain that. So
The kind of person who's willing to break your legs, but by the time it got to that stage, you'd know you'd have it coming in her eyes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Just continues to veterinary.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I said it was Fumi district, I think.
Yes, you did. Lantar Sidonis.
So she kind of nods her head back at Bray to kind of indicate to him, Bray, will you take them down to Fumi district? I'm not sure that they have internal transportation, and it would take far too long to accomplish this by foot. So you guys, I mean,
Sure.
you're free to go. She kind of just indicates to the rest of you. You guys can hang out in the nightclub and do nightclub stuff for a little bit if you want, or you can just go straight with Bray. Bray doesn't really care. He's like, hey man,
He's on the clock.
he's on the clock. He's getting paid.
Does anyone have any nightclub stuff they want to do?
Nope.
Nothing.
Like
No.
if you wanna go hit some gambling, some gambling.
So,
drink up
Ben,
a bit.
we know each other.
Hamas and I.
Yep.
Because we are both extremely devoted and engaged, enthusiastic participants in a tabletop combat simulating game called Death Blaster 3000, and we met at a solar.
Intergalactic.
We met at like an intergalactic tournament,
Yeah.
basically.
And we've met at several thereafter, and
Now, would that be
cultivated a friendship through that.
intergalactic or intragalactic?
Correct. It would be one of those things.
It's definitely one of them.
I think it would be intragalactic.
It would 100% be one of those things. But yeah, and it's good stuff.
So you guys are just gonna hop in?
Yeah,
hop
let's
in Bray's,
just hop in Bray's
Bray's Sky Car, and he takes you down to Fumi District. So it's a short drive. You guys you have time to talk to Bray more about bowling.
Oh, we talk.
If you want.
I let Bray go on and on about bowling, because the more I let Bray talk about bowling, the less I have to talk to Bray when I come through the gates, and the less time Bray spends looking at any of my shit on my vessels when I'm coming through, because I know I can get him talking about bowling. So Paige just lets him go on and on, asking whatever apropos questions about bowling.
This is such a good headcanon for me, by the way, of like having put thousands of hours into the games, and like I know these characters.
Yeah, he's in a bowling league.
Sure. Of course, Bray would be in a fucking bowling league on Omega.
So I'm while you guys are talking about bowling, I'm gonna speak to our new adventurer and ask what the deal is with the disrepair of his augmetic devices.
I'll let you guys RP that. I can take a back seat.
Please. See. So ask then, I guess.
So yeah, I'm gonna comment. Those prosthetics are looking kind of worn and old.
Give you a kind of a half look and go, can't get parts here.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Can't get parts here.
How long have you been on Omega?
Longer than I should have been.
It's interesting. I figure your employer would likely have access to the kind of parts you need to replace and upgrade what you need to stay current.
You are met with stony silence, but you're definitely right.
Well, maybe we can hook you up with something later.
I
Don't
mean,
need it.
Aria does have access to cutting edge tech, but it would most certainly have to be smuggled in, as it is generally at like upper governmental
But
level.
still,
Yeah.
she would be able to have access.
Even
which was
even
the point.
even at the tier below cutting edge, like top of the line that's accessible to normal people who have big wallets, I would have assumed that
And
like she would have access to it, and then
also
so it's like
experimental black level
Yeah,
shit that
there's-
or black market shit that like
Point being, she should be able to take care of him, but isn't, and that's.
If you're this close, you can probably also tell that the way it's been patched up over the years is literally just enough to keep it working. Like no more than that.
Rough.
So Ben, I just
Yeah.
thought of a side quest we can do for you later in the game.
Oh, that's fun.
So, whereas I have been trying to think of character quests, character-specific quests for everyone else, I have now realized a character-specific quest for you. Let me write this down. And then we're gonna arrive at... You guys can keep talking back and forth if you have more stuff.
And then I think at this point, like, Pei is leaning back, so, like, almost like trying to like lean back over the seats to talk to you, but her head is just not. Because I imagine Pei is sitting like in the equivalent of the passenger seat with Bray. She's like trying to like lean back, charge, babysitter charge, and then she just finds her babysitter charge, whichever one you are, How long have you been working with Ari, and what did you do to disappoint her so much? It's okay. After you tell me, I'll tell you what I did to disappoint her so much.
Ooh.
You ask very pointed questions, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I ask very specific questions, and I give answers.
I do too.
Great.
When I choose.
Okay.
You know, this makes me wonder who, because this Sky Car is a 5-seater, driver, passenger, and then it's 3 in the back, and I have to wonder who is sitting bitch
Who's sitting in the middle
in
seat?
the middle seat in the back.
Let's be honest, it's going to be me.
So like, I'm now imagining
It's like Brock Sampson.
Yeah, so like you guys are having this conversation and Ryan is just fucking pancaked into the driver's side window in the back, just like really like, yeah.
I have been in worse places. It's not that bad.
Like you took your sword off of its you took the sword in the sheath off of its like harness, and you kind of have it like on your lap because it would be way too much digging into the back seat and the whatever the like.
I would imagine that the sword actually has to be like gripped like vertically.
Oh, yeah,
like
it is.
this. Like,
Yeah.
it's like bending it
Yeah.
up like.
Feeling it. I kind of rest my head on it a little bit.
Just trying to relax
Accuse
into that.
yourself.
I mean, they're
You're
warm
the
at
only one
least.
who understands me. There's a little heart etched into the top.
So you guys get to a landing platform, and Bray parks the Sky Car, and he lets you guys out and goes, all right. He lights up a cigarette and goes, all right. He hands you a slip of paper and goes, here's Sedona's last address that we know he was at. We're pretty sure he's still there. Wouldn't have any reason to go into hiding. I'll just be here when you're done. I mean, I got nothing else to do. And he kind of, like, he's playing, whatever the Mass Effect equivalent of Angry Birds is on his Omni tool.
But it's holographic and projects out, and you're actually like angle shooting the slingshot.
Because
like
it's a haptic interface.
Yeah. I like that. That's cool.
Hologram. And he's just has a cigarette in his other hand. He's just gonna probably stand there and chain smoke and play Mass Effect Angry Birds for however fucking long you guys are out doing this job.
Beautiful.
He's got nothing better to do.
And he's getting paid.
Yep, he's getting paid.
Okay. So we have his last known address. Great.
It's currently listed as his current address, like that's his mailing address, and like his known residence. But he might not be home. He may have moved because he's been drawing undue attention to himself and trying to interfere with the racketeering on the station.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like our first start should be in the neighborhood. I don't know if we should go to his address immediately, but
you can stake it out.
In the area around where he lives, people will know him, and when people will know him, people will of course tell other people that know him things about him, things that people who know him are expected to know, but maybe just they forgot because of what a crazy day they're having. And we'll be able to, I'm sure, find out much more about Lantar Sedonis and wherever he might be.
You expect people to have very loose tongues, don't you?
Yes, it's pretty easy to get people to wag their
from
tongues
others
at me.
what you expect from yourself.
What'd you
You
say?
expect from others what you expect from yourself.
I like that line comes out at the exact same time as it's quite easy for me to get people to wag their tongues at me.
So yeah.
Oh, specific. She's sorry. She's the unfortunate. She's the Adrat Yakshi. The yay man, you want to die? Let's fuck. That kind. I'm gonna absorb your brain.
The best kind of a story.
I'm gonna absorb your brain with my vagina. Let's go.
I mean,
I'm not wrong, and we all know it.
pretty much.
But does she have random metal stapled to her head?
No. She actually is doing all that she can to look as unassuming as possible because she is the kind of alien that doesn't kill if you make a sex, and people want to make sure those ones die. So she tries to be as unassuming and average and just.
Peggy is fully aware that she is a social pariah.
Yep.
And
So, looks wise, she
In
wants to
universe.
avoid everything possible.
wants to not.
Which is the reason why she doesn't have weapons or anything like that. Because if you are paying attention to a fight, that means you're paying attention to the people who are fighting.
So,
Yeah, I want people to pay attention to me.
yeah. It's great, right? When
I'll
people
make
pay attention.
sure that all attention possible is on you when we're fighting.
How do... I'm going to take this time before you guys get to Sedona's place.
Sure.
Like, Rick, how do conversation rules work? Because I know we did that in the last Genesis game that we did. Where, like, you want, like, say you are in a conversation and, like, you know something about someone else that it should be private or whatever.
You can.
And then, like, or like you want like to give advantage or disadvantage, whatever, in a conversation.
Basically.
I didn't really want to do that with Arya.
Yeah.
But I want to do
This
that now.
this here would be a good idea. So establish specifically what the goal is, and use what they want and what they're afraid of to apply boosts and setback dice as appropriate.
Okay.
You know, their drives, their desires.
I'm just kind of clearing up the dice
Yeah.
right here.
I got you.
So, all right.
So just whatever appropriate skills that seem fitting here.
So, as you guys are walking up to Sedona's place, you're going up to his apartment block, and the light's on,
The building.
and you kind of like you walk up, and you're outside his apartment door, and it does sound like someone's home. So, your guys' options for this are going to be, sorry. You guys' options for this are, you can either convince, like, muscle Sedonis into, hey, stop interfering with.
Socially convince him in.
Yeah, socially convince him in. Things could go very bad and you just eliminate him, or you could side with him and then lie to Arya. There's
I mean, we've
a bunch here.
got
that
options.
You got options.
I think, because this now that we know that there's at least someone in, I don't think that we are standing outside his door having discussion and deliberation. I think that really it was like a sweep around to see what we can. We hear that someone's in. We're stepping away like in like a staircase area.
Yeah.
I don't know about the three of you. Well, I know about one of you, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know specifically about the other two of you. I don't want this to end with blood on our hands because not for the reason you think, because Arya's going to be mad if she gets a reputation as a blood spiller over something like this.
What if we wear gloves?
Sure, we can wear gloves. However, regardless of whomever wears gloves, the blood's going to be claimed to be on Arya's hands, and she's not going to be happy about that.
I mean, if we just put a bunch of billiard balls in a sack and then,
Sure.
blood.
And
No blood.
we could freeze him in a whole bunch of liquid nitrogen and shatter him into a billion pieces, and there's
Oh,
no
yeah,
blood.
that would work.
There's
No, that might melt though.
There's
That
no
might
blood.
melt.
that way, but there still would be the metaphorical blood on Arya's hands, and that would make her extremely angry. And then she might want to get more blood on her hands, that blood being ours, regardless of whatever form our blood takes.
I know, I just really wanted to stab someone.
Well, I'm sure we can find someone for you to stab, but probably not this guy.
No,
If you'd
I
like,
understand.
if you'd like, I can definitely arrange for someone to be stabbed by you.
Ryan, you can
I mean,
always.
I'm plenty capable of arranging that. It's fine.
Well, I'm absolutely positive that you are, but sometimes you don't want to take that. But anyway, I was trying to accommodate.
Ryan, I got 3 more things you guys could do after you do this.
I was trying to accommodate.
They are entirely optional. This is just the one required thing to move on
Let's do
to
some stabbing. But
first main quest. If you guys choose, you can prolong
Hey,
main
man.
quest and do these other 3 things.
we can get to stabbing eventually.
Yeah,
but
man.
What do we want to burst in blazing? Do we want to knock?
Oh, let's knock.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
You can't just walk into someone's house without knocking. That would be
You have
rude.
definitely walked into people's houses without knocking.
As you
No,
say that, I'm just going to walk into someone's house without knocking.
So,
No,
It's a good thing that.
so
if I don't knock, I charge in. It's a little bit different.
he just full on blows the door off the frame with a biotic.
Well, how do you enter this home?
Well, while Zethelian is like sick of tired of you guys deliberating on how to do this, Ben, please describe to us how you enter Sidonis's apartment.
Probably just a swift kick at the door. I mean,
Like
I'm
straight.
assuming these. I've seen Omega. Omega's not always the nicest place as far as home security goes.
You just do a kick out straight at the doorknob so it breaks at the latch.
Yeah, I'm not trying to smash the whole door off. I'm just have
Yeah,
to put it back on
just-
afterwards, but just get this open as soon as possible and end this conversation as soon as possible.
So, as you guys are deliberating, Zethelian just stands up, just kind of like walks over the door. Boom! Does a forward scissor kick into the latch, and the door bursts open.
That's how you enter a home.
And
Like that, right?
That's how I opened the door for you to enter.
Oh no, that was to him, but yes, to you, that's fine. Yes.
I mean, I
so
put a little bit more flair, but I guess it's the same kind of idea.
Okay. Well,
It's the impact is announcing your.
it's
Present.
far more impactful if the big ones go first.
and so as you guys are having this, you have interrupted Sidonis he is cleaning his apartment, he's listening to music, and he's just standing there in his underwear. And like, just does the most shocked, like, at you
Well,
guys.
that don't make a lick of sense.
He's got like a broom in his hands and such.
Yeah, he was vacuuming,
Ah.
and it's just like, he just like completely freezes, and he's like,
Well, now that you've made an entrance, let's make an entrance.
Sidonis is like sputtering out can I help you?
You will.
And you've totally caught him off guard.
Got him with his pants down.
Exactly.
Who walked in first?
I keep the door open, but I definitely stayed outside. In fact, out of sight of the door once it was open.
I specifically encouraged the big ones to go first because it makes more of an impact since we talked about being impactful.
So probably the guy with the sword. And
Sounds
then,
like you,
and
Ryan.
then the Quarian with a submachine gun.
Sounds like you walked in first.
Hi. You
Sidonis.
must be
Sidonis.
Sidonis.
I like the
Sidonis?
idea of like we walk in and you say that and you do fumble his name and I'm
All
like,
three of us.
and I just kind of look over at you like Sidonis.
You must be
As you're fumbling, all of us. Sidonis.
Sidonis, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Can I? What's going on here? If you're here for money, I can pay you.
Well, you don't need to pay us.
Oh,
It's well, I'm not saying don't pay us, but you should pay us. You know, as a gratuity tip. There's someone else you need to be paying though.
Oh.
And it's going to be far more.
And-
What's the word? The word impact.
Harmonious.
Yeah.
We just talked about this.
We
just
say
talked
it
about
at the
this.
same say it at the same impactful.
You guys say
If-
impactful and I say harmonious.
Yes.
And I hear you guys say impactful and I'm just like.
And it's even fucking better because you say harmonious at the moment we say.
Just got my head tilted like. Okay.
If you are the one who is giving Arya the money, it'll send a far bigger message of goodwill. And then Arya gets to keep her hands blood free.
So,
And you get to keep your hands.
Yeah. And presumably your other appendages.
So, what would be the role to, like, you now have conversational advantage
so-
on this guy? Like,
So this,
I want to know how much you guys have.
Right now, what I could do is I could
Steered
make
this
a
to.
coercion roll.
Sure.
Okay. Given that I have 2 ranks in
It would
coercion,
be like coercion or intimidation, sort of.
which is coercion.
Yeah, okay.
Coercion in this game is using social force to get your way.
Perfect.
Versus charm, which is using social grace and enjoyment to get your way.
Yep.
Versus negotiation. So this is certainly coercion. So I have a presence of 3, a
Here, I'm gonna get
coercion of 2, and
dice mug.
would you say the difficulty is easy, hard, or average?
Well, you've kicked in this guy's door. He literally has his pants down.
Yeah.
You are all armed in some way.
I'm not.
In some
Yeah,
way.
you got me.
I have
Yeah.
arms too. I have my hands, which
You
might
have
not.
allies.
That's true.
Oh,
That
no,
is-
I'm saying I can be the sword that does the stabbing for you.
Yeah, I'll write for you. I guess.
Mine's the sword that pierces the heavens. Don't you know who the hell we are?
We live in space. Anytime your sword is outside, it's piercing the heaven.
Yeah.
It's
My
weird.
sword is the sword that pierces the heavens.
I like that. That's its name, and it's inscribed on it. My sword is the sword that pierces
Like
the heavens.
that is inscribed along the blade on
So-
one side.
This sounds like it's
Oh,
going
it
to be
spirals
average or
around.
easy.
Wouldn't
This
that imply that your sword owns a sword that pierces the heavens?
I didn't think about that when I did it. Okay, it was cool. It was cool, and I did it, and it makes me feel cool, so it's fine.
So, this is definitely easy.
Okay.
And then, like,
So it's 1
is there dice that like augment this?
So I could add a blue die, but
for flavor.
I could add a blue die, but quite now, literally what I'm rolling is 2 yellow and a green versus 1 purple. So I can add a blue die for sure, and we can make this a little bit more. But odds are high for me just already doing this.
Okay, yeah.
But if you'd like me to add a blue die, we can
Blue
make
die
this a little
does
more.
does what again?
Blue die is that boost flavor that like you've got this little advantage over this person. Like it just
Sure.
pulls and pushes.
This will be a collective advantage because like it's all 4 of you. Here, do it.
This is quite literally it's 2 successes and 3 advantages. Like this is
2 successes and 3 advantages. So Sidonis is just like hangs his head. He puts the vacuum up on the wall. Like he doesn't even have a closet. It's just like a ramshackle apartment. He just kind of like hangs it by the handle on the wall. And he's got his head down. And he pulls out a chair. And he sits on it and just kind of like levels with you guys. He's like, "All right, I'll collect the dues for
please
Arya."
put some pants on first. The angle at which you're sitting is not flattering to the rest of us.
I mean,
Sorry, to me. Sorry. You know what? I'll stand over here.
and I'll stand where
That is.
I'll stand where she was.
So Ben, you're still outside.
Yep, go outside.
I'm gonna go out and
But out of
inquire
sight.
after you because I figure these 2 have got it probably. Or at least I'm gonna walk into over
Like
to the doorway.
this is the advantage of like you totally were like you called him out. So like now Sidonis is thoroughly embarrassed and has like up over across his legs, which is very difficult for a Turian to do based on their hip structure.
Sidonis, it might. They're the one who determines whether or not you get to keep your hands.
All right, I will.
That's not.
I'll,
keep your legs.
I-
Keep your legs however you want them to be.
so what is
And I've
the
got
back?
this, like, my hand on the pommel of my sword.
All right, and so Sidonis goes. All right, I'll help collect the dues for Arya. Is there a back payment that I would imagine that there is. Is there a back payment for Arya?
You'll have to ask her.
There is.
I really don't.
There
wanna
is,
have
okay.
to ask
There
her.
is.
There is.
Arya's very clear about this.
Yep.
Okay. Can you get me the full payment that I owe her, and then I'll send it to her right. I'll transfer the credits right away. And
Rounding
just-
down, it's 1,000 credits.
Oh, okay.
But I would be very happy to take that for you.
How much of this are you just bullshitting?
All of it?
Would I know the actual amount?
Ben, you would know the actual amount.
If it's more, you should tell me right now.
I was gonna say, how much is it?
So, I'm just kind of like I'm in the door frame, leaning out, and I'm just kind of like, what gives? Like, we're doing business in here. What are you doing?
Ben, the actual amount he owes is $850, and then he collects. He owes for his apartment block. Like, if Sidonis is gonna collect dues around on his block, like his city block, and owes like $100 a month to Arya
So
that he collects from everyone. Like, he'll be in charge of that, and then he has a back payment of like $850.
okay, so it's like double 1,000.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start using one of my fingers, multiple fingers. I'm gonna start using my fingers to communicate this amount. And then when I realize that that's gonna be way too hard, I just tell him like how much it is. But I am still out of sight.
Oh, sorry. We just heard it's 3,000.
So Sidonis gets up, walks over to a closet, grabs pants first, and kind of hoists them up, and then
Sorry, it's fine.
he kind of stoops down and punches a code into a wall safe that he has hidden in this closet, and he pulls out a credit card looking. You know, it's a credit chip. A bank card, and like, all right. And then he walks over to his desk, and he kind of puts it through a slide, like a card reader. Types the money up on his Omni tool, and then slides the card one more time, and he walks over to you guys and just relinquishes it and goes, "There's the amount."
Much appreciated.
Hopefully, will that be all?
From us, yes.
You look like you understand what's going on here, and you look very contrite now. So let's hope that we don't have to see you again.
Now that we have your money, why didn't you want to give it to Arya?
Sidonis really doesn't want to answer you, but like knows that if he gives you a wrong answer or just stays quiet, it will probably end up worse for him. He goes, I don't feel that these people owe her that. Like, they should be able to keep their money, but I mean, she keeps the crime pretty low here, so, or rather, not just pretty low, but like she keeps the Blue Suns and the Eclipse and the Blood Pact completely out of this place. So I don't, maybe just, I wasn't thinking about it right. She is protecting us, and we owe her those dues. Oh,
That is
I won't do
correct.
it again. Alright.
Alright.
So Sedonis just kind of walks back, and instead of sitting at that desk chair that he pulled out, he just kind of like plops himself down on the end of the bed and stares at the floor. Like, he's been caught red-handed.
I suppose some
And,
hotels charge monthly instead of nightly.
Oh, Harris.
He said,
What was your character's name again?
Bail.
bail.
Okay, yeah, Bale. As the two of us, the ones outside, you would probably notice that most people going by, I'm assuming, would steer well clear of us. But if they are Tyrian, they would definitely be interested in me. I would get a lot of looks.
Interesting.
Yep.
But what Pei said was, I suppose some hotels charge monthly instead of nightly. He's
Yeah.
charging a fee to stay in a place.
Yep. Alright. You guys got the money. You can go back to Arya now.
Yeah. Said back.
Cool. So, you guys walk back. Bray is just kind of leaning up against the trunk of the Sky Car. There are 2 flicked cigarettes a decent distance away, indicating he's gotten really good at flicking them. And he's still playing Mass Effect Angry Birds on his Omni tool. And he kind of sees you guys walking up. Goes, "Ah, well, that was quick. Stoners must have been
We're very convincing.
really eager to. Oh, all right."
Yeah.
Before you all get in and sort of go, did you check what he gave you?
No. Would you like to?
Yeah.
Hands it over to you.
Can I do that? I hope I can.
Yeah. I mean, Ben, you don't have like.
You can probably check it with an Omni tool.
Yeah.
We all have Omni tools, right?
I actually don't have one.
I also can just straight up roll a hacking on it.
I have my Omni tool. I can check it.
Yeah.
Presumably, there's some verification system.
Yeah, it's just a credit card. So like the hacking on it wouldn't be
Well,
super difficult.
I think we're just trying to find out the amount to make sure it's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like, yeah, go for it.
So I'll just scan it.
So, you want to roll a hacking or?
Sure.
I mean, like it won't even be like an easy. It's just like a fundamental.
Oh, okay. If it's something that's so
I mean,
basic
I get
that
the
it
sense
doesn't
that this
roll,
would be
then it
like
doesn't-
a sort of like checking the balance on a gift card at a
Yes,
register.
it would be.
Not like we actually
Yeah,
do
that's
anything.
not then that's not even. If
It's
it's
the-
something that's so basic that a
Yeah, it's
child
the
could
equivalent.
do it
It's
without
the equivalent
error
of like I have a
whatsoever.
gift card over on my desk and I want to
Yeah.
check the balance on
That's-
it. That's
yeah,
exactly
that
what that would be.
So yeah, I just run it through my Omni tool. Is it 3,000?
It's he said it at 3150. So that because he feels bad, he's been caught, and while Sedonis is most certainly a coward, he knows that he still values his life and he doesn't want to die.
Well, there's 1,300 surplus on 1,350 surplus on here, and 4 of us. We need to split this up.
See, this is why I like you. You understand accounting.
Don't you ever insult me like that ever again.
Oh, don't worry, it'll happen.
No, you'll come up with a new way.
Is this on a card or something?
Yeah, like a credit chit.
Can I hold out my hand to take it?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense that like either you or Bray would be the one to hand that back to Arya once they've picked it up. So, I mean, like, yeah, we'll go with that. I'll figure this out.
So you
I
know
have
what?
this with the converse. I can do the divvying up of
You know what we should do?
the surplus.
Let's leave the additional 150 on. There's 4 of us. 12 splits very nicely into 4. And we'll leave that additional 150 on and just as though it's some sort of goodwill effort from Sedonis. And I'm sure that Arya's not going to question a surplus more than a deficit. So.
2 corrections.
Oh.
There's 3 of you, and you split whatever Arya doesn't take.
Correct.
Ah. Interesting.
Yeah, Arya's not gonna let you guys have her money.
Well, most of this isn't her money. He needed to give 850 times 2 plus 100. He gave us 3150. That's more. And no, there are 4 of us, and we're splitting 12 that way.
I mean, if you don't want your share, I'm happy to take it.
There are no shares.
Yes, there are.
Are you that loyal to Arya?
That's a hard question to answer.
That question was in character as well.
No, I know that's a hard question to answer. Shit.
Ben, that is entirely up to you because I'm just playing Arya here.
In that case, I think that question, you probably noticed that question stung more than you expected. And instead, Nathaniel would just go, fine, do what you will, but you split it 3 ways. I want no part of this.
Well, you know what? In honor of your loyalty to Arya, we'll just leave your share in and call it a gift from you to her, if she asks about it.
That's a piece of advice. I've been here a while.
Alright.
If she asks if you took the money and you say you took some of it and left the rest as a gift, that's going to be worse than saying you didn't take anything.
Yeah, it's going to be worse if I say I took her money.
Yeah.
But I didn't take her
No,
money.
this was a finder's fee.
Yeah, she would understand. I know that she's not very understanding. However, she understands when a business person makes sure that they are safe and cared for in their share. Especially women in need.
Alright. So, Bray puts out a cigarette, flicks it. It goes a very respectable distance. You guys hop back in the Sky Car. And he flies you back to Afterlife. You guys can go back and talk to Arya. So now you're back at the club, and you walk back up. As you walk back up, that Blue Suns guy that was being held at gunpoint, he's not there anymore. You do notice that. It's just
Well done.
Arya. It's just Arya and a couple bodyguards in the booth. So,
Has one of the bodyguards taken my space?
no. You may resume your lurk spot in the corner if you so choose.
Creepy.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
All right. So, how you guys? So you guys kind of stroll up.
Yeah.
Arya turns and acknowledges you. She goes, "Oh, back already. Sedonis must have been very cooperative."
He was.
Caught him with his pants down.
You did.
Well, they were often in the closet, to be specific.
That is fantastic. I assume.
You have some interesting taste.
I don't response for that. So Arya's, alright, let's quit the shit. I assume you have my money.
Yes. What is owed to you is on this card.
More, actually.
Oh,
More?
more.
Excellent. I'm glad Sedonis was able to see how we do things on Omega, and he'll further cooperate. So which one of you has it? Like you indicate to Zephalion.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
turns back around and goes, just kind of like puts her hand out, like behind, like she doesn't really, like she looks at you and then like looks back at them and like she's just leaving her hand up over her shoulder and like, come on.
Again, that slightly too long a pause, and then just place it in her hand.
Grabs it, takes it down. Bray, run it. Thank you. So, now that you've done that little errand for me, there has been a little bit of a problem that I'd like you guys to deal with, as it is interfering with my operations. And I would rather not get involved for reasons that I would go into as much as I would like to get involved. But probably shouldn't, as it would bring unwanted traffic. Let's put it that way. Unwanted traffic to our neck of the woods.
Rush hour is already so difficult.
It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Hang on, let's see. Here's a family.
Sorry, guys, give me 1 sec. I just need to feed Sylvie.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I just heard Sophie.
What?
Body
Never mind.
break.
Amber's gonna take care of it.
Oh, okay.
We can do a body break if you want.
Well, I was just figuring if he was going to offer to do that, then yeah. But we could just kind of conclude this scene and then do that, and then come
Yeah,
back to it.
let's finish up. Let's finish up this scene. Let's get our
Okay.
this next step and we'll take
Get
our
our marching
little
orders.
break.
Yep. And so Arya goes, There's been rumors down in the Gozu district about a little family. And they're causing all sorts of a commotion. And they're interfering with my operations because people are more interested in them than they are interested in listening to me. And I really don't like it when that happens.
Well, what's so interesting about this family?
Purportedly, there's a Krogan couple down in the Gozu district. And like, as she's talking, the guards around this little booth have like definitely walled this area off from anyone who would be eavesdropping, as this is need to know information.
Ben, what's the name of the formation that y'all call it when you practice this move to block off the area?
Does it have a specific name, or am I allowed to
Yeah.
make one up?
Make one up, man. I want to know what you bodyguards call it, because there's some name for it that just gets like whispered from the head guy that just kind of goes around the little circle that you all then.
Something to do with pangolins, because they're the best.
I love it.
Cool.
So pangolize. It's just pangolize.
Turning
you all just sort of.
pangolin into it's no verb.
Yeah.
To pangolize.
Yeah, you just pangolize.
It's also what you call it when Corey Feldman from Boy Meets World says an untruth to his girlfriend. They're to pangolize.
God damn it! Thank you.
I'm guessing that was a bit more of an American-centric one, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I also went about it the most obtuse way I possibly could.
In a Nickelodeon show called Boy Meets World,
Main character had a girlfriend named Topanga. to Pangolive. Anyway, this all.
I met her once.
The best I can do is I know
Did-
who Corey Feldman is roughly.
Ryan, you met the actress who plays Topanga?
And Corey, yeah, they were doing an award show in Canada that I went to when I was a kid.
That's cool.
That's wild.
Nice. That's really neat. I
That's
like
the end of my
that.
story.
Sure.
So, alright, let's finish up this dialogue.
Yeah.
Take
So
a break.
they
or whatever.
Pangolize.
Yep, so these bodyguards move up, like, kind of like, hey, we're having a serious chat over here. And so, I understand, I'm not really sympathetic to the Krogan, nor do I feel that they need to be eliminated, because the Krogan can be very useful in their, let's just put it, their brutish qualities. But reportedly down in Gozu district there is a Krogan couple, and they actually birthed a viable child. And now everyone is losing their shit about this Krogan baby. I don't want them interfering. I don't want this chaos from this Krogan baby interfering with my operations any longer. I'm not going to tolerate this shit. I want you four to go take care of it. And just, I don't want this, I want it dealt with.
I'm not killing a child.
I didn't see you had to kill.
You said deal with, and other times you've said deal with, not to me, but to others around me. That person has been gone. I'm not killing a child.
Then don't do the job.
Okay, see ya. I think that the guards don't let me out of
No,
the circle.
they don't. So like, I would imagine that like you like go to get up, and the
Yeah.
guards are like forcibly make
Yeah.
you sit back down, and Arya goes, "I didn't mean you had to kill the kid. I have a kid. Why would I want to fucking kill someone
I
else's
just
kid?"
explained to you.
As I was saying, I want you to deal with this, so it stops fucking up my operations on Omega. The Blue Suns are trying to ransom this guy. The Eclipse are trying to capture this family. Like, Blue Suns are trying to... I don't know what the Blue Suns are doing. Hang on. Retconning. Blue Suns are trying to capture for ransom. Eclipse are trying to kill. And Blood Pack is just doing whatever the fuck the Blood Pack does,
It's kind of their way.
and causing chaos as they usually do. And I don't like it. So
we get them out of here then.
that would be agreeable.
I have a lot of experience with children being taken away to other places.
Arya looks at you with both, like, that was a very solid dark joke and she appreciates it, but also sympathy, because Arya has a kid, you know, and she's like, dude, that fucking sucks. Like, no child should be taken away from their parent, you know.
No, I definitely have like a soft spot. Like, even with all the politics, it's like breaking up a family or having like a kid getting kidnapped. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. That's
Yep.
not all right.
And so, after you say that, Arya kind of leans back and says, "All right, good. I like that idea. Zethalion, you're free to go with them. You can do as you want."
I know that means go with them, just so you know. You're free to do this. Yep, that's an order.
You're just not free to do otherwise.
Yeah. Yes.
But been more or less. Arya is giving you the freedom to like leave the station now. Like as long as you don't fuck her over in any way, like you're free to go. You're it's not like you're fired. It's more of like you've done what I wanted you to do. Thank you. You're free to go. Like I don't. It's nothing. What's the word I'm looking for?
Not acrimonious.
It's not. Yeah, it's not disagreeable. It's not bad. Just good. Go do what you want. All right. If that's what you guys. That's the mission. We're now on main quest number 1. Arya's like, yeah, good. Now that we all find this agreeable, get them off my station. I don't need this chaos interfering, and I would rather it come that a family can stay together than not. I just don't want them here. So take care of it. You all seem like a very capable bunch. Thank you for dealing with Sedonis for me. Enjoy Omega. And the guards now kind of break, and you guys are free to go. So we can do a body break if we want to keep going, or do you want to call it for the night? Let me grab my notebook here. So, the gang, I'm just going to call you guys a gang. Or do you want a better name than that?
Gang is fine.
Gang is fine.
Terror Squad.
Gang, crossing that out. Terror Squad.
The Milfanto Terror Squad.
Explain.
Or
Milfronto. Milfronto.
Torord?
Horrible.
Milfronto or Torord Terror Squad.
Were you putting all
Toronto.
of your last names together?
Toronto, Milford.
Oh.
Torontor.
Torord Terror Squad.
Milfron Torord.
Milfronto Terror Squad.
Terror Squad.
The MF Terror Squad, there you go.
MF Terror Squad.
MF Terror Squad.
Jesus.
I have a feeling that now that that's in our heads, it's going to influence the way we behave in game in a way that is both violent and amusing.
Now I'm curious as to know to whom we are known as the MF Terror Squad.
We'll figure it out.
No.
Fucking Lantar Sedonis, obviously.
You know, someday we got to give Brief Cundy a bitch slap. So.
He'll just. Oh, we can totally pull that in with Ben's character too, because he's Turian.
Alright.
You guys just show up to some deal.
Rear Admiral Brief Cundy.
We just bitch slap him and then brand him on his forehead. MF Terrorist.
It's like Inglourious Bastards.
We're like the Mass Effect equivalent of like Antifa super soldiers. Like we're everywhere and nowhere, and we're like the greatest threat to civilization. But no one can actually point to a single one of us.
I also just the statement about slapping him on his birthday reminded me of the little detail thing that we established is that Rear Admiral Brief Cundy always every day his like orbit is set up so that way literally every day he goes into the next day it is technically his birthday by the way that these Star Tarts are being so any day
Slap him every day.
No, it wasn't that every day was his birthday. It's that every one of his birthdays is 69.
That's right.
He was using different like base
you know what? Both. There's enough time differences. Both.
Every day is my birthday. Sir, no it's not. Yes it is. I'm 69 years old.
That's right. Brief Cundy is a terrible person.
Rear Admiral Brief Cundy. And the Turian hierarchy is just looking for a way to
Cut that shit out.
Cut that shit out and send him into retirement.
MF Terror Squad.
Holy shit.
Oh boy.
We take all jobs.
No matter how odd they are.
They never have any ends.
So, MF Terror Squad. Thank you. Okay, so already told about Krogan Baby. You guys are gonna get Krogan Baby off station.
This is gonna be some shit.
Yeah.
I like how there's just a picture of the fucking Avenger on your goddamn, like, as we're talking about baby heists.
I'm gonna need more gun. How much gun? A GAU 8 Avenger. So, next session, I think, Ryan, this is when, you're gonna get contacted that, like, your job is basically the same deal, like, what, you know, your contacts within Hanar government and Citadel Space were like, hey, we had a proposition for you, and it turns out that it's the same deal. Same thing, get Krogan Baby off station safely to Krogan Homeworld.
Okay.
And then they're just going to give you more information that Arya didn't give to you. Like, specifics about the job, opposition you're going to have, etc.
Cool.
Because they're, you know, spies and shit like that. Their business is in the know, government security kind of shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not. Let's go with. What did I say? I said Blue Suns want to ransom. Blue Suns capture for ransom.
Whatchamacallits want to kill.
That's Eclipse.
Eclipse.
And the blood terrorist just goes in chaos.
I don't know why I was going to say, like, Twilight wants to kill. I'm like, that's not right.
Eclipse.
It's close.
Kill. Blood Pack.
Fuck everything up.
Because they're just a bunch of Vorcha and Krogans. And they want to fuck everything up. Now, no. The Krogans in the Blood Pack also want to get this baby off station, but there's we're gonna flub this and say that there's been a power shift a little bit, and the Vorcha are just doing Vorcha things and they want to fuck all the shit up.
Cool.
I'm gonna literally write Vorcha bullshit for Blood Pack. Okay. So how'd you guys feel about game? I'm done taking notes.
Enjoyed game. Good
Good.
time.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Overall, had fun.
I didn't have a chance to really go into Genesys core rulebook this week because I had work, and I didn't really have if you guys were going to do a combat, I didn't really have a combat super planned out. I'm glad you guys went with. You rolled a d4 and got option 2 out of the 4 side quests that I came up with because it was going to be the least amount of confrontation. So that's helpful. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Ryan, did you have stuff that you wanted to say about gaming in general or whatnot?
I took more notes today.
Okay. Hang on.
Um,
Ben just messaged me something. I want to see what it is. Red. Okay. Oh, okay. Ben, if you gotta skedaddle to catch the shop, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I just won't interrupt the recording, but I guess I've done it now.
Yep. Yeah, dude. You can just head off if you have any other things you want to say, you can go right ahead. If not, like
I was
you
going to say,
enjoyed
yeah,
it.
just going to say, I really enjoyed myself. It was a good time.
Good.
I know we had Tyrion-esque plans, but I felt that staying outside was more in character for that particular point.
No
But
worries,
I'm
dude.
entirely happy for you to bring in those same Tyrion-esque plans with some other character in the future. So,
All right. Cool. We can go with that. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm
Fun
very
playing
interested to
the
find
straight
out
man
more
for once
about
in a game to 3 slightly weird people.
The
I'm
last
very
game that
interested
Ben
to
and I
find
played,
out
he
more
was a
about.
frog.
I'm blanking on his name.
Zethalion.
Zethalion.
What did you say, Ryan?
The last game that we played, Ben and I, we were playing Dungeon World, and he was a frog,
Oh,
Nice.
a little punchy boy,
wonderful,
That's a fun game.
wonderful, wonderful.
and he met the queen, who was a monarch butterfly because she's part of the monarchy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course she was.
Okay.
What else could she have been? I
It
suppose
was a good
maybe
game.
an ant or a bee or some variant of beetle.
I was thinking B for a little while, but then
Too overplayed.
yeah.
Yeah. Ben.
Anyway, so yeah,
Ben.
I should head off. Oh yes. Hello.
Did Ryan ever tell you he once spent 2 years planning a game around a pun? Because if
No,
he hasn't,
doesn't
you
surprise me at all.
should go to the shop and he'll tell you about it sometime. But
It was my greatest achievement.
go to the shop. Go to the shop.
I'll
Enjoy your
ask
night. It was wonderful playing
Yeah.
with you.
Anyway, yes. So, thank you, and I'm looking forward to playing again.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll see you next time, bud.
All right. See you, people.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Do you want to start with like classic teacher move? 2 roses and a thorn.
Yeah.
So
Shouldn't it be Rose
two
Thorn
things.
Rose?
this is for you as well as you as well, Colin. But 2 things that you really liked from the session, and 1 thing that you didn't like as much, or would have liked to see something a bit different, or something that you felt was missing, or
Can be improved upon.
yeah.
And then another thing that you enjoy. It was wonderful.
All right.
Do you want me to start?
Yes. I'm glad that you're taking such fantastic notes on this.
One thing I really enjoyed when we first met Arya, you did like a little introduction to each of us, and it was a nice way to kind of ease into the session. It gave everybody a bit of spotlight time right off the bat, and it was a nice way especially because Ben was new, so
Yep.
he didn't know our character. So it was a way for us to, in a nice kind of organic way, introduce a little bit about our character, a little bit of the personality and our relationship with Arya. So that was a nice way to start. My thorn would be, it took us a bit of time to get there, right? Like we had the getting off the ship and walking through the club. We could have jumped to like just moments before beating Arya, and that would have got us into kind of like the meat and potatoes of the session
Okay.
a bit faster.
So I took too long of like world building and should have just gotten to it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like because we didn't have a lot to do in those moments.
Yeah.
So it's like we're just kind of waiting to. At least I'll speak for myself. I was waiting to kind of get going. So I mean, I was enjoying hearing about the club and stuff like that. But like, you could have started right with like, we're in the club. You hear the music. You see this stuff going on, and Arya looks at you, and then boom, within a short period of time, we're at now like able to interact with the world.
Yeah. As opposed to just like the world being described to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like we had the moment of like talking to Bry, is that his name? Bray.
Bray.
But we didn't have a lot to talk about because we haven't actually done much in character yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like having a chance to interact with NPCs is fun, but because it was the very beginning and the last session we played was a flashback, so it was kind of like we're jumping forward. So we don't. At least I didn't have a good sense of like what was my character doing for the last day, the last few weeks, the last few months.
Right.
So it was I would have to scramble a little bit more to find something to talk about to a random NPC.
Okay. Or it might also make sense that, like, you haven't really been to Omega before, but it's okay.
I mean, that's why I jumped in with some random thing about Ray that turned into a headcanon.
Yeah, you totally
But that's
bailed.
just,
You bailed me out on that one.
I wouldn't say bailed, but
No, and this is not a major thing
No.
at all. This is, like that's just a bit of fine tuning, and that's a thing that I see a lot of GMs do. Not just novice GMs, but a lot of GMs will have this kind of like, because you want to give the players a chance to do something, but we haven't been given enough to do yet. So there's just like a little bit longer to get started before we get into the real the juicy bits.
Actually playing the game instead of just attending the game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even quite call it attending a game, but kind of like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I've done that
that's my
before.
thorn.
That's a different thing, and that's no fun at all.
yeah.
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 Okay.
I wasn't disengaged during that time,
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
but we could, like, remember we were talking about, like, that in medias res? Like, it's
So,
in the action. The other Star Wars, I really enjoyed our conversation with Bro, with Sidonis.
Okay.
I thought that was fun. And catching him literally with his pants down, and it was just a fun, goofy scene, and I enjoyed it.
I was just like while you guys were deliberating, I was like, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like when Ben said, I'm just gonna kick the door in. Immediately, the first thing that popped in my head was like, dude, how hilarious would that be if he's just like he's cleaning up his apartment and he's in his underwear because he's not expecting any visitors. Like that would just be
good improv
Perfect.
there.
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's good.
Hilarity.
So I've got
So the
related to
Yeah, go
what Ryan said about like setting scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that it's generally good to avoid is talking about people's mental states, both players and NPCs.
Oh.
Because the thing is, if you tell us what they're doing physically, but we don't know what they're thinking about, that gives us this whole area to explore in play.
Okay.
Both,
So like, what was the? Okay, so it was probably with the Sidonis.
Well, there were a
Talking
couple
to-
points where it's just like you would mention the way someone was acting, and there was a lot of extemporation on like the way they felt about things.
Okay.
And so if instead of saying he feels sheepish, if you say he's kind of got his shoulders hunched, then it's like we have to interpret that, but it gives us both options because it's like we have to react to that, but you can also mislead us, both it like intentionally or unintentionally, right? So it gives us this little field of play to get into with role play.
Okay.
The other nice thing about that is that it leaves for a nice openness as well in things.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I also, and this is related to actually to what I was going to say. Like Ryan, I really enjoyed that conversation with Sidonis, and what I liked about it is that there are multiple outcomes, potential outcomes, like the openness of that, because in a lot of GMs, they will like force you into combat, or they will make it so that you can't go into combat.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just way too restrictive. So that was really good. And that's a very good way to operate social situations that can go either way.
Okay.
And it gives us just so many more options for how we want to approach a given situation. And also, from the GM side, it gives you options in terms of like, well, I was thinking this, I didn't, like maybe you don't have any hard ways about how it's going to go, and you just kind of feed off of what we're doing, and you say, okay, I think this is sort of like this is a natural way for this to go. So that was good. That was really good.
Okay, cool.
Like we had the same sort of thing with Garrett running a campaign. It kind of got derailed, and like we cycled through like 12 players, I want to say, by the end or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Was that the one in Taiwan that I was at one time?
Yeah, that one time.
Yep.
But Tyler came to that, and Garrett was like running us through this social encounter, and Tyler was just like, "Oh my god, this is how you can run a game? Holy shit!" And it like radically changed our main campaign.
Yep.
Because he had been in the like, okay, we're fighting or we're not fighting tracks.
Oh.
Yep. This is the one session that he attended of that game.
Totally changed our campaign. So you did a really good job with that. That's a lot of thing. That's the kind of thing that like a lot of people do not instinctively build into their games.
Oh.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, I think, especially now, some of that might come over from how video games are structured,
Yeah.
and part of that is due to the nature of like a video game has to be pre-designed, like it has to be designed, and you can only do what was put into the game. But when you're playing a tabletop game, like an RPG which is so open-ended, you have a bunch of human beings who can react in time with each other, and so
Yeah.
it's really nice when you get that openness because that is unique to the medium.
Yeah, and you certainly have a depth of experience with role-playing games, and especially role-playing games with this cadre of individuals, and so you definitely were able to fold that into your expectations that were understood. Like, you just knowing us as people and players, that fighting isn't going to be our immediate number one choice, but it's not off the table. Even though you know me, I'm playing a character that doesn't have weapons. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to do a fighting if that's what we're going to do.
And our Drell adventurer is definitely on the like maybe 60-40 murder hobo like person spectrum.
And
or like 51-49 maybe. I don't know. It's ambiguous. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
But it's also just very good that you're able to fold that kind of understanding in, and not because as I think that you have more experience with role-playing games than you give yourself credit for, because yes, you've taken a break from them for a while, right? But you've had all that experience and time in college and all the time that you have now, and it's good to see you coming forward with this and bringing forward this kind of understanding. The things that you are doing now are definitely showing that a really cool thing is that the mistakes you're making aren't mistakes that absolute beginner GMs make. You are making mistakes that are routinely made by many GMs, but the kinds of mistakes that you're making aren't the kinds of mistakes to be expected out of someone who this is their first real foray at running game, at playing story. Like,
Gotcha.
and that's fucking dope. I think that's something that needs to directly be said and addressed to you. Is that
is
the things that you're fucking up aren't beginner things, and that's good.
That is thoroughly.
They're also not fuck-ups either.
They're not.
It's pretty minor.
I'm using words that I know would be what's the word, Ryan? Impactful.
Impactful.
But
Harmonious.
but yeah.
Yeah. Let's focus on like the
thoroughly
two rows of the fun thing. So the structure around that, just to keep it nice and focused, because we could easily go off on things.
Yes. I think that I would have liked to see with our encounter with Sidonis, I would have liked it to be a little more difficult.
Okay.
Because I think that there was some space there to make it a little more dramatic and juicy. Like, because we walked in, yes, he had his pants on. It was funny and enjoyable and great. I liked that.
So I had, like, perfectly related to this directly.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you had Sidonis go over to the safe, I was thinking he was gonna get a gun.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that he was going to be doing something that would be
weaponizing that experience.
What I was thinking actually was I was looking for a way that Sidonis would realize that you're talking to someone outside the door.
Yeah.
And that's how I wanted to loop in Ben. And like Sidonis would recognize Ben as this like disgraced Turian war veteran.
Oh, so Ben was very.
That's how I wanted to like get Ben more into the fold. But that was something that I didn't even consider was that like
What if he had a gun there?
yeah, I didn't even
That's
consider
the
that
kind of thing that
Sidonis
you
would have
like,
a gun in the
that
safe.
level of improvisation. Like, okay, there are things that you can plan, and then there's
like
moments where you
Sidonis,
just
I
think,
know
like,
is just like
Yep.
the most slimiest coward.
yeah.
And, like,
So
but he doesn't have the balls enough to like pull a gun on these guys.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like, and this will just come more and more naturally to you the more you run games. Is just thinking about those little things you can throw in there, because the thing is, you know, you can plan everything out and think. I've had sessions where I've done a lot of planning and I got to it and I just thought this is kind of crap, so I'm just not gonna do this, and I'm gonna see what they do with like minimal amounts of information, and whatever they go with, we're gonna run in that direction and see what happens. And it's never been a disaster, I don't think.
I've had a few disastrous sessions.
I mean,
Me too.
I think we all have, but all right.
So, I mean, put it this way, this is session 2. I haven't seen anything that like worries me. I have seen some shit that like really interests me, so, you know, good times.
Yeah.
This is definitely a lot better of a session 2 than most people put out.
I'm leaving that in.
You should.
And like, you know, the first time
You didn't leave it in, but okay.
yeah. Like the first time I ran any sessions was like super
scored.
wheels on and limited. Like I just got into this conversation with Benny, and he like talked sideways around this, like, dude, what is he wanted hopefully vitreous fluid, not much else.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Colin.
It's just really itchy. I should probably shower.
I didn't mean to get that there.
After. Anyway, continue your story, Benny.
So Benny
Wheels
wanted
on.
he just hated like the backstory and design of Dragonborns in the player handbook for 5th edition, so we wanted to remake them. But the way he talked about it was like totally sideways from that, and I wildly misinterpreted that to mean that he wanted to design a campaign where Dragonborn are like like magically engineered super soldiers.
That's right.
So wow. We got into this thing, and then we were like going through it, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't actually want to do a thing," but so I just got like Garrett and this South African dude we knew, and like they woke up in their holding tanks and like rampaged, and it was so limited, but it was like, even that I was just like, "Oh shit, I've like done this very stupid thing, and now I'm like." As the players are making a decision or like trying to work through this obstacle, I'm thinking like, I have created a problem.
And I don't know how we are all collectively going to resolve
And this was after like 10 months of like 9 to 10 hours a day, like on Sundays every week, of like watching Garrett as a dungeon master. So like, yeah, I'm excited for this. I enjoyed our first session, but it's also nice to have another person in with us.
Even though it is the second session, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's nice to have a fourth player, because it's just that little extra bit of juice to play with, you know.
And it makes having to be around me suck less.
Thank you.
Ben, we were just doing 2 roses and a thorn. So 2 things that worked well for you that you liked.
Ryan,
in the
you don't
session.
have to specifically say like 2 things that you liked and then 1 thing that you disliked. Like if there's more dislikes than likes, do tell me.
No. The
I'm
purpose
very
of
good
it
at
is
taking-
very intentional.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
specific.
It is a teacher thing.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
so-
a teacher thing.
It's
Although,
a
what I would
psychological
say is that
receptivity
roses
thing. So you say something was good, then something was bad, then something that was good.
I didn't
So-
say the thorn was on the rose.
Fair enough.
So the thorn is cushioned by having already heard the thing that was enjoyed, and then the second rose is like impetus to keep building on what was good and not be discouraged.
It's very good. There's
Doing
very
that
good
brain trickery.
Granted, this is also for like little kids who don't have emotional regulation.
But it
but it
works.
also works on
It is.
adults.
This is also how you talk to adults. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the compliment sandwich is a really effective way of making sure that people don't feel bad after receiving criticism, and that's just a feature of human psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my experience, most adults are far worse at taking criticism than kids are, because kids are used to it. Adults aren't.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is probably why a lot of people know that I'm a hard worker at work, but not necessarily a good worker, because I'll just call people out straight to their face. Oopsie doodle.
Yeah, there's like, things like negative comments weigh on our minds more than positive comments. That's why you see, like, it's, and a lot of times because the negative thing, if you go back to our lizard brain, like that one bad thing is really, really important to fix because that could be a thing that keeps us alive.
It is also straight up why forgetting things is psychologically necessary. Because of how heavy negative comments weigh on our mind. If we weren't able to forget negative comments in passing from other people, they would weigh so heavily on our mind it ends up tainting our relationships with them. Same as there's anyway. This is all
Sorry, there is another reason that I said to do it like this, and it's because it'll be very easy for us to like keep rolling on a particular topic, and this is to help structure out our conversation so we actually get through more material, so you actually get more feedback and you get higher quality feedback in the same amount of time.
Which is exactly what happened earlier. We had that kind of rolling momentum.
And I don't have to do more editing.
So that's why I'm suggesting structuring it like this.
Cool.
It has psychological benefits, but also it's a more efficient use of our time.
Yep.
All right.
So Ben, did you have two things that you enjoyed and one thing that you would have enjoyed more or didn't quite work for you or would like to see more of or something like that?
Okay, from a meta perspective, it was really nice being clued up as to what was going on and having a clear lead in for my character. That was really good, and it's something that I have been in many campaigns where I have joined after the start, and that has not happened. So that was
You
really
meet in
good.
a tavern, form a group and do something.
Ugh, it's the worst.
It felt like basically something that, like, I mean, I was going to say DMing, but I haven't been DMing for that long. I've been GMing, but I didn't start with D&D, so I guess DMing is the wrong term.
It's
But
interchangeable.
I've been running games since I was like 17, and I have run a lot more games than I've played, so I've got a lot more practice doing certain things than a lot of people. However, one of the things I've consistently seen, even from really experienced GMs, is that they tend to assume that it is enough to just put you there, and you will find your own impetus to join. And most players can, but it was always nice to have it so that the world actually gives you the opportunity to do it rather than you doing it yourself. And that is what you gave me as I joined. I was directed by RA to go somewhere and then explicitly given permission by RA to do the same thing at a slightly later date. So that was really good. If that makes sense.
Was there anything that you think I could have done a little bit better, whether it was metagamey or regarding your character or how I had you guys do the fetch quest, so to speak?
I think my only real issue with it was the pacing of the beginning, and that's partly because I obviously wasn't taking part because I was introduced, but I can't really, that's no one's fault. That's just life. But the start, it felt like you should have set up the environment more, because the start was a reasonably slow start to getting to the actual action.
Gotcha.
And I felt like I knew a lot of what was going on. Like I played Mass Effect multiple times. I know how that station
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, some more description. If I hadn't known it, I'd have been like, okay, I kind of vaguely know where I am. But it would be a pity not to describe more because that's an area with a hell of a lot of color to it. Yeah, that would be my thought. And my second rose was I really enjoyed when you played Aria. Really good job.
All right. Tried to channel my inner Carrie Ann Moss for that. Just real
It was
badass
very
lady.
Aria
Is she
like, which
like
I
the
was
voice
weird.
actor for it?
Yeah, Carrie Ann Moss,
I did
the
not
lady who plays Trinity in the Matrix movies, is the voice actress for Aria,
Sweet.
and she is she is civilized, but so menacing at it. Like if you just like go on YouTube and like look up clips of
I remember
her voice
vaguely like
acting
it's
of
you know.
Arya, like there is no doubt given to the player that she is in charge and she holds all the cards and then some. And I was doing my damnedest to make sure that was conveyed to you, the players.
That's good. That's good. She definitely felt like a powerful individual.
Yeah, I mean, her line is, "I am Omega, and nobody fucks with Arya." That's like her motto.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I mean, it came through that she is a powerful and in control person and wants to ensure not only that she remains in control, but that people understand that she remains in control.
Yep.
And part of being a person who has control is not having to do a murder. Because if you can't control people, that's when you kill someone. But the only reason you kill someone is if you can't control them.
Yep. All right. Cool, boys.
So I have more in-depth feedback if you want to do that. We could also talk about it another time if you're getting tired.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do tomorrow.
Okay.